poor, the middle sector suddenly become poverty.
Yeah, the majority of
just because they turn
seniors live in
65.
poverty.
And well, a vast majority do live in poverty.
And they vote, but
they always vote conservative.
Not always. I know some seniors who don't. But
well, that's not very many.
That's if they vote at all.
If they can get there.
Or you get the ones who have dementia that vote, and their little care workers taking them over there and pointing to the conservative.
Really?
And they click it off. I've seen that. No, I have
There was
not
an election
heard it.
in the 80s where they did that, and
it was just
they only won by a couple. They took it's from a Chinese old folks home, and they had a sample ballot with a conservative name marked off.
Oh, see how that
This was
works.
about 87 or 88.
Yeah, that's what we should be
They
doing.
won by like 50 votes.
And the other thing, and I said this in the Alberta Party meeting that I was in, the pub night. They just had a pub night. And, you know, if we have more things like that, I'll email them to you. But they had, what I was saying is they should talk about why people aren't voting. They should get them out there and have a questionnaire. Why didn't you vote? Why will you vote? What would make you vote?
And then she said a lot of attack ads are designed to keep people from voting.
Yes.
I thought that was really interesting. How does that work?
Well, I
because
think it's
basically
negative.
what it does, it's like, for example, in this last federal election, one of the things that really annoyed me was people saying, well, a vote for the Greens is a vote for the Conservatives because you're somehow taking a vote away from the Liberals or the ND. And well, I was hearing it mostly from Liberals actually, but what that does is say to people, your vote doesn't count.
Yeah.
Don't bother.
Exactly.
It discourages people.
It also personalizes too. Like, you can't trust this person. And so you're like, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. She's a good person. I don't care. I'd like, why? I don't want to get into it.
Strategic voting is just plain bullshit.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. They've done study after study that shows it doesn't work, and people still have this idea that the only way it could work is if you could prove that by swaying the sector of people it will change it. But that rarely happens. It rarely happens.
What you have to do is dissect
someone as
it.
crazy as Alex Jones. Have you ever heard of him?
Yeah.
Oh, he's off.
Alex Jones.
But the thing is,
Internet
is
radio,
that for
radio,
it to actually work, you'd have to have a majority of people voting and then shift the amount of people, right? When you only have 30 to 40% of people voting, strategic voting is useless. It's completely and utterly useless. You'd have to, like, down to the line, 70 to 80, 90% voting.
Yeah, the thing that can actually make the change is engaging non-voters.
Yeah.
And we saw that in
That's
the
what it is.
municipal election, where the thing that defeated Rick McIver was bringing out a whole bunch of people who otherwise wouldn't have voted.
Yeah.
Young people.
Well, not just young people, across the board.
Anybody that doesn't vote.
Yeah. Because it's, you know, 60% of Calgarians
isn't just... You know what he did, too? The week before, I think he got elected, he turned around and started bashing the police. And the young people all went on and said, oh, he's bashing the police, we'll vote for him. So it was like a tactic, but it was...
I think a part of it was the flashy gloss. It was a very glossy, program.
It was a beautifully put together campaign.
It was, but there was not a lot of substance if you got down and actually seen what the guy's policies was and what he was really saying.
Well, he didn't really say too much, and that helped him.
I saw another element in the municipal elections. I saw that the East Indian community mobilized.
Yes.
Yeah, the chalking on the sidewalk.
And all the
exactly.
I'm sure that brought in a few
all the
votes.
LRT stations were chalked.
Yeah, they're pretty organized to do that.
That was the East Indian community.
Well, an old neighbor of ours had said
Tactics like that.
Some
tactics like that.
Well, an old neighbor of ours we talked to, she said like she'd gotten in arguments with people because she's a Muslim, and she had people coming up like, oh, did you vote for Nenshi? She's like, no. And they're like, well, why not? He's a Muslim, and she's like, first off, he's a small sect of Islam that majoritarian Islamists don't consider Islam at all. So she's like, he's not really. Second of all, why the fuck would I ever vote for someone just because he's a Muslim? Because I am. That's like, I'm a female. I'm going to vote for someone who's female. No, I'm going to look at your policies. But she's like, a lot of people in her community did that. They're like, Muslim. I'm going to do that. And she's just like,
it's the herd mentality. They reverse it and they use it for themselves.
You get a lot of people who identify as Christian voting for
Harper.
Who identify themselves as Christian, even if they are so anti-Christian.
Yeah.
You know, like Harper and Bush and so on, who are so diametrically opposed to Christianity.
What was Christian about Klein? I mean, like heavy smoker.
Which makes no
that
sense.
reminds me of Jesus.
Which makes no sense because people will say you can't trust politicians. And when they go to vote, it's like, well, I can trust this guy. I know what's going to happen. Then what happens is they come in, they screw shit up, and they're like, I don't care. Whatever, I win, right? People keep getting demoralized every cycle.
still hear people say that all the time. If we had Ralph Kleinbeck, everything would be I hear that every week at least.
That's horrible.
I mean, if you could bottle that somehow and make use of it, I don't know
someone
how.
on the internet, I think it's called Davidson, has made, he has his own blog spot, and he has made a chart with the numbers indicating that if a participatory democratic model was in place in Canada, we will still have a majority in favor of the NDP.
Yeah.
I mean, if the NDP, the Liberals, and the Baltic Electoral are put together, we will have a majority in Parliament. And I don't know. Yeah, I have that website. I don't know if you have familiar with that.
Yep.
Well, because the Conservatives got, what was it, about 40% of the votes that were cast that we know of.
39.
Yeah. They got about 25% of people defined as eligible voters supporting them, and roughly about 18 or 19% of Canadians, because a lot of Canadians aren't eligible voters. Anybody under 18.
Yeah.
Not sure what's the status of prisoners. Is it?
I think they can still vote. I don't think they took that away yet.
Okay.
That's
Well,
good, because
that's
there's going to be a
away.
lot more of them.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait for the Supermax.
But
I'm voting for the people who put me here.
Oh, and we laugh.
But one thing that was amazing was to see the minds of the Liberal Party. This just went down.
It's almost they brought in Ignatieff to bring them down. I mean, I'm not
Maybe he was paid by the Conservatives to
see
join
that
and
he has
take them out from
no,
under.
he had no,
On the
you know,
inside.
with the public. He didn't
Lots
connect with the public
Lots of
at
people
all.
said to me,
Well, I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I think there's something to that.
I mean, they should have been able to see all the lights were flashing red. I mean, Ontario had a very unpopular Liberal premier. I mean, very popular Conservative mayor in Toronto. These aren't good signs. And they walked right into traffic.
Unfortunately, people see conservatism as something that means stability to them. And in times of instability, they turn to conservatism first, and then they realize it doesn't work for them and works against them. So we're actually just going to go through a rough period here until people become awakened.
But what they really don't get is that the more proactive your policies are, the more you generate.